power.
It's been over 4 years since the world was introduced to the world of Amiibo, and right off the bat, there were certain Amiibo that were near impossible to get. I mean, back in the day, it was the original 3, the Holy Trinity, that was Villager, Wii Fit Trainer, and Marth. But even now, all the way in 2019, certain Amiibo are so expensive that the average collector just can't afford them. So today, we're counting down the top 5 most expensive Amiibo. But before we start, let's lay down the ground rules. Now, first and foremost, all of the Amiibo on this list have to be able to be purchased at retail. That means Amiibo like the Gold and Silver Monster Hunter Amiibo, or even the recent Golden Mega Man 11 Amiibo, are not eligible for this list. I'm also basing the value of these on the average sold price on eBay. I'm not taking a look at some of the inflated prices that people are asking for, but only what has been confirmed sold. So, without further ado, let's take a look at the top 5 most expensive Amiibo in history. Coming in at number 5 is one of my favorite Amiibo ever, Mega Yarn Yoshi. Now this was a Toys R Us exclusive all the way back in November of 2015, and it came out to celebrate Yoshi's Woolly World. Now before that, we had other Woolly Yoshi Amiibos that were really tiny and really cute, but this was the biggest Amiibo we've ever seen up until this point. Now back when this thing first came out, he was going for $39.99, and it was pretty rare. I remember the lines outside of Toys R Us were pretty crazy when this thing first came out, and for good reason. This thing was pretty darn amazing. Nowadays, if you want to pick one of these up, the average selling price is about $100 on eBay, so if you have one, consider yourself lucky. Now on this list, you might notice a handful of Amiibo that never came out in the US, and number 4 is one of those. This is Nibiru from Monster Hunter Stories. This was part of a larger Monster Hunter Stories Amiibo line that came out in Japan in 2 waves. Now, most of these Amiibo aren't that expensive, with most of the Amiibo in this series going anywhere between $15 and $25. But Nibiru, for some reason, is a huge exception. Now, once again, he's popular. Monster Hunter's a really cool series, but he's the smallest Amiibo in this entire set. Combined with the obscurity of this run, and of course the fact that this never released outside of Japan, Nibiru is coming in at about $100 average on eBay. Now, Monster Hunter Stories did in fact come out in the US, but for some reason these Amiibo just never followed. So if you had the foresight to import one of these, well, you got yourself a pretty darn rare Amiibo. Coming in at the number 3 spot, we have Callie and Marie, the Squid Sisters 2-pack. Now these Amiibo released all the way back on July 8th, 2016, and for the most part, people did like these, but I still remember walking into Toys R Us and seeing these things readily available. One of the reasons behind that was because you can only buy these in a 2-pack in the US, and it was about $24.99. But that being said, it really wasn't that bad. But like most Amiibo, after time, Callie and Marie were phased out, and with Splatoon 2 coming out, people started regretting never picking these up. Which is why, as of today, if you want to pick up an in-box 2-pack of these Amiibo, it's going to cost you about $120. Yes, I know, that's quite a bit, but Callie and Marie are amazing. They're definitely worth the money. Moving on to number 2, we have another Japanese exclusive Amiibo. This time, it's QB. Now, QB is one of these Amiibo that a lot of fans just don't understand, but me, I love him. He's an adorable white cube. If you've ever played the Box Boy series, you know there's more to QB than meets the eye. So personally, the fact that this never got a release outside of Japan is a travesty in my opinion, but sadly, that's what's happened. Now back in the day when this thing came out, you could buy it in 2 different ways. Number 1, you could buy the Amiibo separately for about $13, or number 2, you could buy a pack that came with the game and the Amiibo. Now if you want to pick up a QB Amiibo right now, it's going to set you back over $150. I've even seen some sold listings for QB over the past year reach nearly $200. That's pretty crazy, especially considering he's a white cube. But like I said before, QB holds a very special place in my heart. One of my favorite amiibo of all time. Alright, we're moving on to number 1. And this one might be something you might not expect. Heck, you might not even know these existed. But in Japan and in Europe, there was a special set of Animal Crossing amiibo cards that featured everybody's favorite cat, Hello Kitty. Now for some reason, these things never came out in the US, which is kind of mind-boggling for me. Now in the Japanese release, you could buy booster packs that essentially gave you 2 amiibo cards and 1 sticker. Now there was only 6 amiibo cards in the entire set, so getting all of them really wasn't that bad. I think it took me about 4 or 5 packs to get every single card. But in Europe, they offered only one option, and that was 1 pack with all 6 cards. Now that pack would set you back about £5 or about $7 or $8. Not too bad. But shortly after they were introduced, they were pretty much immediately sold out. Nowadays, if you want to pick up an entire set of these amiibo cards, it's going to run you over $200. That's right, $200 for 6 original cards. But there you have it, folks, the top 5 most expensive amiibo released at retail. What do you guys think of this list? Do you happen to have any of these super rare amiibo? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you soon with yet another top 5 video, but until then, stay wired in. Bye guys.